Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned in to All About the Authors. This is our live chat series where every second and fourth Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we bring in two guest authors who are doing some great work with their books and things that are tied into their books. Normally, I host this with my colleague, Faya Tyresa, who is one of the key movers and shakers in arts and entertainment with the work that she's doing with top-notch artists, including Dougie Fresh, Teddy Riley, and others. She is a published author as well with her books Follow the Fire, as well as her new journal, which ties in with health and wellness. We'll hope that she'll be able to join us a little bit later today. She is, as people know, sometimes with arts and entertainment or media, things can change real quick. So I'm going to hold it down as fully as possible. I'm going to start off with a brief introduction of myself. Then I will introduce our first author, who will do a 10-minute talk about the work they're doing. Then our second author for a 10-minute talk. And then we're going to bring them back and open up our chat for people to ask questions and get contact info. So my name is Andrew Snorton. I'm based out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. And under the author hat, there's two books that I've written and two audiobooks, and I'll share those real briefly. The first book that I wrote was back in 2017, as hopefully you can see the title here, Deeper Than Your Deepest Sleep, Thoughts on Love with Joseph Snorton. It is for you and readers that you know that enjoy poetry, looking at love through broader lenses. So looking at the action of love through themes of relationship with family, friends, loved one, community, stewardship and outreach, self-reflection, and other themes. Unlike a lot of poetry, it's based on conversation with family, with a long-lost family member. So the beginning of each chapter is basically like your preview. It's giving you the context of what we were talking about. So when you get into the poem, you're able to draw connections. So that is a fit for you or readers that you know. The second book that I wrote, 9 Stories of Faith, Volume 1, was released in 2018. This is for you and readers that you know that can identify with living with not only life's challenges, but the challenges that people live with each and every day. So for you or someone you know who can identify someone living with the challenge of physical health, mental health, life after incarceration, things along those lines, people open up and share not only through their respective walk, through their faith and spirituality, but how they incorporate better practices with health and wellness, how they incorporate their support network of family, friends, and loved ones, but how they've pivoted their mindset and thinking. So it's the approach of I live with something versus I have something, because oftentimes when you have it, it has dominion over you. So when you live with it, you are keeping it in perspective and keeping everything as balanced as possible. So that is a fit for you or readers, you know, not only across faith, but just in regards to, I'll say, health and wellness. The last things I'm going to share, because we want to make sure we're putting the spotlight on our other authors today. We're taking time out. And I'll show the business card up here with the complete works. There are 2 audiobooks that I've done called the Author's Mixtape. And real briefly, it's taking the mixtape experience that you see in hip hop and R&B into the audiobook world. So what happened is in individual 2-hour studio segments, all the writing, the producing, recording were done in single segments. So that way what ended up happening is it's really organic. So the first edition is a 7-chapter track, which again, touches on topics of what gives you peace, to things along those lines. The second edition is an 8-track piece, which builds on some of those same types of themes. Real quickly, just to stay connected with me, you can connect with me on Facebook on my author page, Author Andrew Snorton, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Author A Snorton. And those are probably the easiest and most accessible things. So I wanted to briefly introduce myself. And it looks like we have our second guest, Ty in the building. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot to Ty. Ty's going to do a short introduction, a quick 5-minute intro, and then she's going to do our first interview with one of our authors. So Ty, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings. I am super excited to spend this time with you. I had a brief celebrity emergency prior to this, and so I'm just going to dive right in. What an amazing Sunday it is to be alive and breathing and be above ground in the land of the living. I am author, celebrity host, celebrity source, all of the above and a little bit of this and that, Tyrese Ty, and I mostly among all things, I am your fire friend, and I'm here to educate, motivate, inspire, mesmerize, and help you keep your fire burning so that you can reach your destination. It's a journey, you guys, and in the process of that journey, it's going to be peaks and valleys. So, but what you got to remember is when you're going up and down, it's kind of like when you're connected to a source in the hospital to keep you alive. As long as you're going up and down, that means you are living, and that means you have an opportunity to get to where you need to be. So enough about me. I'll go over some of my books at the end. I am really excited to interview my good friend Jamar. Hebert is in the house. Yes. How you doing, Jamar?
I am good. I am good. Just blessed to have the opportunity to be with all of you guys today. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You have, okay, so a little bit about Jamar, and I want you to add anything else you want to add. Just a phenomenal guy all over the place. You're a corporate trainer, director, something now, right? For Cox Communications, and I worked with him at Cox Communications, and I know he was over so many different departments. He's moved and been promoted so many times. I can't keep up with where he's at. I know he just spoke at a graduation, a virtual graduation, which was amazing. He is a graduate of Southern University. He is a member. He's an alpha man. A member of that fraternity, prestigious fraternity. He's a husband, he's a father, he is an amazing, God-fearing, great friend. And he has a great sense of humor. With all that added, he has a great sense of humor. And so I'm glad to call him friend. Tell us a little bit about your book, and tell us the name of your book, show us a picture of the book, and tell us a little bit about it.
So I would say about 3 years ago, I released my book, and the title of the book is Dream It, Plan It, Do It. And it's the subtitle is A Personal GPS for Everyday People in Pursuit of Extraordinary Dreams. Very similar to your book, Ty.
Mm-hmm.
I say that's great minds thinking alike, right? But it's basically a book with the simple principles of helping folks to accomplish their goals in life. You know, a lot of times we think it's too late, you know, as we get up in age, or, you know, we get distracted by social media, for example, and think that we're not good enough. But it helps everyday people, no matter what age you are, no matter where you are in life, to accomplish and go after their goals. We also talk about 50 characteristics in the book of people that are actually doing it, people like ourselves, right? So what does that look like? And just some of those 50 characteristics, for example, include, you know, having a specialized knowledge, for example, delivering value and exceeding expectations. So it really covers everything from being disciplined. Going back to social media, for example, how do you leverage social media to accomplish your goals versus just posting things that don't matter, you know, or what have you. So it's a really good book. I really encourage everyone to go out and read it. And I always tell people, you know, even if you feel that you're where you're supposed to be in life, pass it on to someone else, a friend or a family member that may be struggling. So that's pretty much it.
That's great. And I have a copy of the book, but I don't have it with me because I bought it a while back, and it's in Louisiana, where I would want to be right now.
Right.
It is a great book, and what I like about it is it's very simplistic but profound. Some books are so intense that you just get discouraged reading it.
Right.
Like, I don't even know if I could do this, you know. And a lot of times, and I say as a trainer, some people can do it, but not train it. They can only do it. And what I love about your book is that you can do it, you're doing it, right? And you were able to give simplistic steps to let ordinary people read this and follow this guide, a map, if you will, to their destination. Just if you follow these simple rules, and like you were saying, as relates to social media, like it's more than just like, let me get up here and post something really quick. It has to be strategic, and it has to be your own way of doing it, right? And I always feel, and you watch me from the beginning of my career, and I will say I've gotten a little lax as how I post, but initially I was so driven, and the way I did it, I didn't have a million followers, and I like to speak to people who don't have a million followers and let them know that, you know, you just need the right ones to see you, to hear you. You just need to attract the right people, so that you'll be able to, whatever it is you want to accomplish, maybe moving to the next level as an author, right? Speaker, because you are a speaker as well, or making sure that, you know, the right people see the book and able to grab it. Because the thing about social media, it doesn't tell you who may glance at that, your name or your title, go on to Amazon and buy books. I get a check every month from books and from random people I don't even know.
Right.
I said, a book is never old if you don't have it. Okay. Exactly. My book is, I don't have to write another book in life. I still will always have a new book.
That's right. That's right.
To the people who don't have it.
Right.
So I mean, phenomenal. Just the book is really, like I say, very solid, very just what a person that is on the ground level would need. And I think that came from, do you think you've been a frontline employee and you grew up in the industry, corporate raised you, I always say that about myself. Do you think that had a lot to do with you being able to just break that thing down so sharp, like just to the T?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, Ty, as you know, we've worked in a lot of call centers in our past. So we run across tons of individuals with different personalities. And,
Yes.
so you learn how diverse folks are. So that definitely helped with writing the book, and specifically targeting, you know, everyday people that you meet, you know, that you just meet on a daily basis, not targeting specific people that typically read books, for example. You know, I'll never forget, while I was writing the book, I had my son to kind of glance at it. I was like, do you understand what I'm saying here? And he was like, yeah, I kind of understand. I say, well, let me go back and rewrite this particular portion so that even he as a teenager would be able to comprehend it. Yeah, so that's definitely important.
Wow, that's awesome. So what do you have planned? I know you just spoke at the graduation. That was awesome. Do you have anything coming up, and how can people get in contact with you?
Awesome, glad you asked. So I love speaking, love mentoring. So one of the things that I'm currently working on is starting a 100 Black Men chapter here in Gainesville, Florida. Ty, as you know, I'm a native of Baton Rouge, and I was a member of the 100 there. So I was so shocked and surprised that you know, great organization, prestigious organization, wasn't here in Gainesville, Florida, where I am. So really getting that off the ground, and then starting my second book, which I believe will be titled The Only Black Man in the Room. So from having worked in corporate America, and, you know, even being on planes, I find myself as being the only Black man in the room. So I really want to break that down as to, you know, how does it feel to be that only Black man in the room? And then how does Caucasian Americans make us feel? And, you know, as being the only black person in the room, how does that look, you know, from different perspectives? So really excited about that. To reach me, definitely, I have a website that folks can visit, jamarhebert.com, JamarHebert.com. Also, you can follow me on social media simply at Jamar Hebert.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to that new book. That's very intriguing. And you know, we both have been in situations when I transitioned to marketing in Baton Rouge at Cox Communications. I was the first only at the time African-American female marketing manager. And so very challenging. I was the first African-American female to ever be a manager at Coca-Cola in New Orleans. I felt like Harriet Tubman. I say all the time. That was definitely a test that the Almighty put me through. But you see, I'm still here. I made it through, and that's what it's about: creating these tools for people to understand how they can go through hard times in life and still become, at the end of the day, the journey, what they desire to be, right? So you are a living example of that, and I thank you for your time. Again, I'm going to give Andrew, Mr. Snorton, an opportunity to ask you some questions, and just hang on at the end. We'll let you say one more thing before we're done.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure. One key question, Jamar, as we get ready to wind down your segment and pivot to Ms. Hardeman's segment. The motivation behind writing. We know that we all have our life experiences. We all have a story to tell. What would you say was the motivation for you to tell your story on this type of platform, or talk about these themes on this type of platform?
You know, that's a really good question. I always think back to the folks that helped me get to where I am, you know, whether that was my mom, who was a single parent who rose from a lower class family to being the first to earn her bachelor's degree, or, you know, folks like my brother who at the height of in the 90s, where, you know, drugs were running rampant and you had drug dealers and all this other stuff, but he rose to obtain his law degree. So it was folks like that that personally inspired me. So I felt, you know, through this book, I could help those who may not have those mentors in their life to accomplish, you know, the goals and to have that mentorship through a book to get to where they want to be in life.
And that is very powerful that you share that. And I think all of us, to varying degrees, there was someone or something that obviously we know we got help to get to where we are today. But I think what's even bigger than that, and yes, it's about the professionalism and outreach, but the word that kind of comes to mind is stewardship. And indirectly and informally, while we might be operating under one lens, at its root is stewardship and outreach. So I'm very appreciative of you, you know, making time and being motivated to take it to this level and beyond. So we're very grateful for that. We are. And I think stewardship is definitely going to be a great bridge, because as we pivot to our next author, Ms. Kechia Hardeman, stewardship, advocacy, outreach, service, faith at the center. I think those are things that start scratching the surface. So Kechia, welcome. How are you doing this afternoon?
Thank you guys for having me. I am wonderful. First, I'd like to say to Jamar, that is a powerful title. I was just talking to some of the people inside the comment box. That's very powerful, that title.
Thank you.
It speaks loud. So that's good. It does speak loud.
Awesome. Kechia, if you do us a favor, give us a little bit of background, where you're based out of, and I'll say the early stages of your stewardship and outreach.
Okay, well, I'm Kechia Hardeman. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. My stewardship started off as about 7 years old, 7, maybe 8. I was raised in a church, so I am religious to a certain extent. What I mean by that is I believe in a higher power, which is God. Okay. I start off as basically what God has for me to do when I actually start writing my book. It wasn't something that I said, oh, I just want to write a book. It was very challenging. It was very uplifting. And it also was very deliverance through my books, from myself and for people who actually purchase my book. I'm like you, Tyrese. I don't promote my book, but I get checks every month. So that's good, you know. because we don't know who sees us. We don't know who knows us. That's the point of being in stewardship, that you have to represent who you are within inside. You know, what goes on inside of you has to shine out. You know, my books, I have 2 books, and my 2 books is, the first one I'm gonna put up is from the seat, from the seat to the streets, from the streets to the seat. It's actually a story called Sean, which is me when I was younger. So I'm taking people through my life story in one book, very short book, very detailed out into where I come from inside the church, and actually transition into the streets. And what I mean by into the streets, I had a street life.
Mm-hmm.
So from having a street life, I also went back to where I belong. So I went back home. So I went back to the church. You know, I never came out of church. I was still in church, but I still had a street life. Mm-hmm. So that's what this title here, this is all about. See the little girl right there? She's so pretty. That's me. And that's my auntie, my mom. And my next book is me. It's true. When I say it's me, it's true to me. It's who I am now. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's all about, I fight for me. And this is a journey, a 14-day journey. It's about prayer, worship, honoring God, and pulling down everything that the devil wants you to say that you still into. And this book here has saved me. It's one of my biggest books that I've been purchasing lately. It's just like running off the shelf with this book here. And it's like, you know, the feedback is awesome with this book, that the prayers are really helping to understand that you have to not just walk in life, not just exist in life, mm-hmm. but be life. You know, it's a difference to say, okay, yes, woo, I'm in life, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But are you really living life as being life? You know, I don't want to be a preacher on here, but I have to say what I have to say. You know, God is all we have. God is our life. We've been in lockdown. I've been in my house now for 50-some days. Okay, so God is the source. God is keeping me. He carrying me. He providing for me, you know. And this book right here, I go back and I read it again myself, because of the fact that a lot of times we go through cycles. And as we go through cycles, we have to break those cycles. Those cycles has to be broken. Even when you don't think you're in cycles, you're in cycles.
That's the truth.
You're still in cycles, you know. Things we going, you know, I heard you say something about discipline. That is so true. We have to be disciplined in every aspect of our life, you know. So that's how we break cycles. You break cycles by being disciplined. You break cycles by being focused, you know. Mm-hmm. And so these 2 books I have some more to come. I'm not like him. I ain't throwing the name out because they ain't how God work it. But I love your title. Because I have to wait till he give me that name. Yes, I have to wait till he give me that name. But it's a book that's on the rise, and it's coming soon. Maybe sooner than we think. But you know, I believe in united on all fronts, you know, to help our next person out, no matter what color they is, no matter if they are female, male, old, young, disability, I don't care who they are. We have to come as united to help each other out, you know. Mm-hmm. So I have a prayer group that we does it once a year. It's called Climbing Jacob Ladder, and we go up on top of Stone Mountain and we pray and we encourage each other. People don't understand that climbing Stone Mountain ain't as easy as it looks. You know, and just imagine you climbing up Stone Mountain with baggage.
Oh, wow.
You got baggage. You got things in your mind that you're carrying with you. You got everything at home, jobs, all this stuff is carrying. Those are baggage. So as you climbing Stone Mountain, we're releasing the baggage. We're releasing. So by the time you get up top, you're lightweighted. and we go into prayer, then we come back down. We don't come down just to be coming down. We coming back down to the trenches to bring somebody else up the next year. So we never goes alone. You know, we never goes alone. Also, I have it's a foundation. It's not as big. It's a little small foundation that God is using. It's all his hands, and it calls the work of his hands. And what we does it once a year. We come together. This year it was about building, and I'm in class, so I'm able to get a little bit more insight about this building within you as though you're building a house.
Mm-hmm.
And not just knowing that you're going to go and just build, because it's edification, is really building, and it's like building a house. And it's so amazing that I'm bringing this up, because a lot of time we want the big picture, we want the glamour, but we don't want to take the road before we get there. We don't want to have to pull the lumber. We don't want to have to nail the nail. We don't want to have to take a hammer and beat the nail down. We don't want to do that. We just want all the glamour. We just want to be present like, hello, I'm here. And it doesn't work that way. So starting next year, we will go a little bit more into work of his hands with building. And I know that the next book is coming out this year. I know that it will be out this year. I can't put a title to it, but what I do know is the prayer line will come a visual as of next week. So next week, be looking at my Facebook page, which is What Kechia. I have a podcast. You can also catch out my podcast on YouTube, and it's all What Kechia. You can also go to my Facebook page, What's Kechia. You can go to my name, Kechia Hardeman, on Amazon and purchase the books.
Mm-hmm.
You also go pick My Life Pink Butterfly on Twitter, My Life Pink Butterfly, also on Band. And I am in link with Kechia Hardeman or My Life Butterfly. So I am all on social media all the way around. Just put my name in, Kechia, and it pops up.
All right.
Awesome. And the key things that I keep hearing all throughout this, and not only just with the work you're doing, Kechia, but also with what Jamar is doing, and really Ty, all of us, it's seed planting. It really is. It's sowing seeds, it's planting seeds, and giving people, just like other people gave us that nudge or that start. Mm-hmm. It's about giving back and doing the same things. Ty, before we open up the folks that have been really waiting patiently, do you have any question or comments for Kechia?
No, I've just enjoyed hearing her speak on all the things she has going on, and I'm definitely going to check her out and follow her on all the different media outlets. And I just want to encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing. And I really love the mountaintop experience. I think that's amazing. Everybody has their own way of doing things, mm-hmm. and we have to be able to embrace the difference in all of us, and understand that God gives us all unique ideas to reach people, mm-hmm. right? And so, I'm where I see Jamar is starting a 100 Black Men organization in Gainesville, which is a big task. That he can definitely handle. You're taking people to the mountaintop, and guess what? They're equally important. Mm-hmm. And I just thank you all for being able to be bold enough to walk in your gift and in the vision that God gave you. I think a lot of times we like to compare and compete, and we don't take time to recognize and applaud what we're doing as individuals to make an impact on the world. When you take on a responsibility like this, I mean, it's easy for people to point fingers and say, well, you should have did it this day, but you're not doing it. And it's my mm-hmm. vision that God gave me. And unless you're going to cheer me on, please don't try to hurt me in the process. And so I just want to say two totally different things, two totally different visions, two totally different great people that we have on here today. And I just want to say thank you for what you're doing, not just for yourself. Because a lot of people think when we write books that it's selfish. We are very unselfish to pour mm-hmm. out the gifts and the vision, and sometimes our personal opinion, personal lives, because I have personal, like you said, you share personal things from being a child up, and sharing your personal lives. A lot of times, like with Jamar, with his books, Jamar's been very successful even at a young age. A lot of people want to hold that to themselves and say, I don't want you to come where I'm coming. I don't want you to get to where I got. It takes a lot to be able to pour all that out to another person and say, hey, I want you to have the opportunity to reach your goals like just as I did. So I just want to thank you both for that, just what you're doing, and just to continue to keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So while we still have time, we want to encourage our viewers, please take advantage of the group chat. If you have questions, we definitely want to use some time for Q&A to ask, both Jamar and Kechia. You've heard their motivations. You've heard the themes that they're covering. And yes, it really is, like we said earlier, seed plan. It's about equipment. It's about empowerment. It's about hope. It's about, hey, look, it can be done. These are things that are possible. It's about having some type of spiritual base and grounding, because that is what gives people the P word, perspective.
Yes.
So it is huge when you hear, what they're both talking about. Yes, it's part their personal experience, professional, and letting people know, to borrow from an author I know, what ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Does that kind of sound familiar, Ty, ever so slightly? But seriously, it's making things accessible. It's making things doable. And it all starts with your base to help you have perspective. So as we've heard, you don't let your highs get too high or your lows get too low.
Absolutely.
And all of us have said this to varying degrees. You can be in a situation, but it doesn't mean you have to be stuck in that situation. That's a theme that almost all of us have tapped into from Ty, speaking from your book, Follow the Fire, and the current journal. Jamar, talking a little bit more about your backstory. That was a situation you were in, but it doesn't mean you have to be stuck there. Kechia, when you're, especially in your first book, we've all been in some situations, but it doesn't mean we have to stay there. And that's huge. I hope, regardless, that's a theme that everybody, from today's chat is really getting. And you don't have to, you're not always going to be where you are. You have the ability to move. And like Kechia, like you were saying with the climbs up Stone Mountain, bring somebody with you. Bring as many with you. Don't keep it to yourself.
Right.
Yes. Can I, if you don't mind, I just see a lot of people on here right now that are my friends. And I like to say hello, everybody. Thank you guys for coming in. It is so special to see Bridget, Janet, Valerie, Jacqueline, and Walker. I know who that is, but I want to just say thank everybody for coming in. And please unmute, ask questions, especially about this title, this Only Black Man in the Room. That's going to be something serious right there. But please do ask questions.
And I want to thank everyone for joining. And I want to say this. I've always wanted people to understand the value of two or more. People in our mind, society makes us feel as though we need a crowd. And I always think about the things that God did. It was never an abundance. He turned it into an abundance. Right? He turned the fish and the bread into an abundance. He turned so many things you can list when you think about it, if you know the word, that you don't need a lot to make a lot. And when we have these moments, when we spend this time together, I don't know about you, but it encourages me as well. It causes me to get remotivated to pull my book out and start doing some extra things. When I get off here, I'm gonna post my book. I'm gonna post my book again. But I just wanna, I don't want us to just give nuggets and not leave without being encouraged ourselves. And I believe
Mhm.
that when we come together, it doesn't take a lot of people to make a powerful impact.
Right.
I encourage you to take this video and to share it with other people, and ask the people who couldn't come on to share it with other people. And I am a witness. If you followed my story, I created, with the help of God, I just created my own brand, and I took it and I ran with it, and it's taken me all over the world, internationally as well. I am a living example. And like I always say, I don't have a problem with the people that came off the pole and all those different things, because that's their testimony. But I like to be able to show people that God could take ordinary people, everyday people from small little towns, made like a boot, and take you all over the map, right? And
Right.
so you have to, at every opportunity you get, whether it's 5 people, whether it's 10 people, tell your story and promote your story. There is never a waste. There is never an opportunity that you wasted time if it's just one person. And this, and we record this because we want you to be able to tell your friends that didn't hear it, to, hey, I want you to not only listen, but I want you to share this. And it's about just sharing and making the impact. Because when you think about a fist, it starts off with just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it becomes the 5, and that's when it's powerful. Alone is nothing. And for us, I always say, for me, I don't need a big crowd. A crowd is great. A crowd is great. I come from an industry where you want a crowd. But it's amazing how God has put us in a place where we're social distancing now, and we can't get to a crowd. So this will be a prime time for us to see, are we really walking in our purpose? Are we really walking in our vision? Because guess what? We're going to have to be impactful without a whole bunch of people.
Right.
We're going to have to take a little bit of nothing, and we're going to have to we're going to have to take what we got. And what that is, it's us. It's the people who joined us. Thank you for the people who joined us. It's you, Miss Kechia, you, Jamar, who say, hey, I'm going to take out a few minutes to focus on my book, to not only talk about my book and promote it, but listen to other people, encourage, take, receive, all these things. It starts off with just a little group. Everything started off with 1 or 2 people. And I think a lot of times people get discouraged because they're looking for the crowd. You're looking for the sister, the brother, the cousin, the coworker you asked to join, and they didn't join. That's okay. You still come. You give your witness, because it only takes one person to hear this. I could take this, transfer it over, and somebody else hear it, and they just like, oh my God, who is that lady? Who is that guy? Because that's what it's about. And I think for me, that's the biggest thing I always want to leave with people, is that it only takes one.
Right.
Don't ever get discouraged because it's not a whole bunch. It only takes one. God, the thing that God has done, and I know you, Ms. Kechia, you were trying to talk about God, but we all love God, and those who don't, apologize for you. But I don't ever.
We all do.
I don't hold back whatever God has put in me, because I wouldn't even be here today if it wasn't for Him. So I always acknowledge Him, and I always give Him glory. But the thing about it is, like, we have to make sure that we think about God and how He had 12 disciples, and of course 1 denied Him. So we already know we're gonna have somebody to go, 2 or 3 people go step up.
It's all right. It's good to have a Judas, sweetie. It's good to have a Judas. It's good to have a Judas.
So you think about that, 11 people. Now you think, I just want to encourage you this quick minute, and sometimes we're going over because we need to end, but I gotta say this. If God had 11, 12, 11, whatever you want to call it, if we have 4 or 5, we got 4 or 5 people that's on our team, we're blessed.
Yeah.
See, He created a whole world with 12, right? We're trying to make an impact, right? We're trying to make an impact in the world. He created the world. We're just trying to make an impact. So if we got 4 people that's cheering us on, and I will say this, we got 4 people already, because it's 4 of us right here, and we're supporting each other right now. So if we support each other and we share and we love, we will be able to get to the places that we need to go and meet the people that we need to meet. And so we gotta, the worst thing we could ever do is count the numbers. Because we got to come with the right spirit and know that we are walking in our destiny and we're walking in our purpose. That whatever needs to be seen or heard, no matter how many followers, no matter how many views, no matter how many, nothing, all you need is one. And it will change the whole trajectory of your life. Just one. So keep on keeping on in every area of your life. For those who are just listening, who are not authors, those who are supporters, I say cheerleaders are the best. You are so you the MVPs, baby. The ones that help you get to where you need to be are the most valuable players. So if you just stay focused on what it is you want to, keep writing books, keep doing whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's being an author or not, as long as you are purpose driven, and it's what God has destined in you to be, he will make provisions for your purpose, even if you don't have a dime. And that's all I got to say. Oh, let me tell you about my book. So I got Follow the Fire. You can follow me on Fire Teresa Ty, and it's FIYAH. TYRESSA. This is my new journal. It's a self-care journal. It's very, very, very needed now, and more than ever, probably with the pandemic and everything's going on. If people are kind of stressed out, anxiety, and I'll say this: we don't like to say, Christians don't like to say that we stress. We trust God. We trust God, but we're human. Okay, and we have moments, and so what we have to do is be prepared for what it is that we know may come. Like weapons will form. So when the weapon form, let me pull out my journal and start writing how I feel, and writing how I feel and how I can overcome that, instead of having a pity party. So it's about finding tools to overcome the challenges, because you're gonna have challenges. Stop pretending you're perfect. Go to counseling, write it down. The Bible say, write the vision, make it plain. Writing is healing. So I encourage you, this is for all people, all ages. I have this book. I have a his and hers for the husband and wife, because I know y'all probably don't want to talk too much no more. You're tired of talking. Too much talking going on.
Hey, that's a whole nother Zoom.
We'll have that one next.
When is that one gonna be?
So listen, I got the her and him journal, for him and her. And you can write it down and get in the bed and say, look, I don't want to talk about what happened today. But 2 days later, say, I want you to read how you made me feel. Because see, people can receive stuff better. All that going back and forth, too much. I got one for the kids, right? Tell the kids, instead of hitting them on top of the head, just say, look, go in your room and write down why you did what you did, why you ain't gonna do it no more. See, that's what the old people used to make us do, right?
Yeah. Go
in there and write them lines. By the time you wrote 1,000 times, what you ain't gonna do, you ain't gonna really do it no more. It's power in writing. It's power in writing. It's power in reading. And just go on my website at www.fireteresa.ty and check out all that good stuff. And also, I encourage you all to support my friends that's on here as well. I'm done.
Well, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this is great being able to do this all about the authors. It really is about letting people know about there's a universe of people out there that people don't know, who need to get acquainted. So with having our guests on here today, as you've heard before, remain grounded, remain humble, but stay hungry, because you know there's more out there.
Yes.
Second, with being able to have a great, I just say host, we just share in the platform for someone I've been able to work with the last few years. Ty, as you tell, brings it with a purpose, with passion, and with sincerity. It's definitely appreciated. It really is. And even, with looking at this whole thing today, I hope the biggest takeaways I hope for our viewers, there's some great authors doing great things.
Yes.
Seek them out, support them. Second thing is, regardless of some of the business themes and community themes, when you peel back all of our layers, you are seeing where we all get it from. And that is having that spiritual base and spiritual grounding. And there's nothing wrong with advocating and being a steward. There's nothing wrong with, as we've heard this phrase, lift as we climb. You bring other people along, just like someone else brought you along. Part of our charge and part of that way, not only to say thank you to those people, but in realizing the need for stewardship and outreach, is bring others along with you. So what we're going to do at this point in time is, again, thank you to both Jamar and Kechia. Continued blessings with all that you're working on. Seriously, continued blessings with all that you're doing professionally, with your families, with your communities. Continue being those advocates because people need to hear from you.
Yeah.
To our wonderful host who is multitasking. See, she was multitasking on the front end. I'm getting ready to multitask on the back end because I got to dip in a couple of moments. But, thank you for still taking and making the time to be here and still lend that input and what have you. This is what we do all about the authors every second and fourth Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as you see, this is what we do. We talk with some great authors doing some great work. Don't let this be the only time that you connect with these people. And to those of you out there, you continue to embrace your greatness.
Yes.
So until next time, all of you, take care, be of good cheer, be of good courage, and encourage someone as you're being encouraged today. So thank you to each and every one of you for being out here.